and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Coming right up, another fun varsity sports show.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hey, this is Sophie, and you're listening to my dad, Vince. Dad, you owe me $20 now.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man, Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
AM1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. My name is Vince Delicio, and I am back in studio in Phoenix, beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, in the heat, the dog days of summer. It is the most wonderful time of year, at least for me, having grown up here and riding my bike up and down these streets in the heat of the day and challenging our bodies with the elements, and it is just, I love the heat. It is wonderful, and it's an amazing place. Phoenix, beautiful valley here in Maricopa County, as well as the state of Arizona. All in all, from one corner of the state to the next, you've got such a different vibe, a different environment, climate, from the north, the San Francisco Peaks and Flagstaff, down south to Mount Lemmon, and to the border in Douglas, and east and west, the White Mountains, and anyway, it's I love Arizona. I love it, but I also love some of the rest of the country where our signal and our broadcast extends to, and very privileged and honored and humbled at the fact that we've got quite the audience outside of the state of Arizona, and wherever you are is a great place as well, I'm sure. Joining me today, as I said, I'm back in studio today. I'm riding it solo in the studio, but we are joined by one of our amazing, talented young journalists out of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We've got some partnerships, some strategic partnerships with other colleges, high schools, universities, not only within our own backyard, but across the nation, one of which is the University of Wisconsin, and a young man out of Madison by the name of Mark Buerger. Mark, good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Vince. How's it going with you?
Not too bad. I'm real excited back in studio, and you've been doing some amazing work this summer. Real honored and privileged that you are joining us, and we're going to slow it down a little bit. I know that this show goes very fast. We have a lot of content. But this first segment, we're on for 2 hours, and whatever part of the world that you're in, we're on for 2 hours live, and it just so happens in Arizona we are Mountain Standard Time at 9 a.m. and so wherever you are, we're on for the next 2 hours. But you're in the Central Time Zone, Mark, and I wanted to spend some time getting to know you a little bit. And I know that you've had a chance, obviously, to produce some content for our show this summer. But you've also had a chance to co-host some things that we've done. You co-hosted our Houston show. We're on in Houston, Texas, ESPN 97.5, 92.5 every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. That is a completely unique, different show out there that is representative of the state of Texas, and specifically within the Houston market. There's a lot of sports and a lot of activities going on in and around Houston, Texas. So we're very honored and privileged to present an hour there every week. And as I said, Mark, you've had a chance to kind of co-host that program and put things together. What's it been like for you this summer in working with the Varsity Sports Show, Mark?
Well, yeah. So before I finished my junior year of college, I came on to the Varsity Sports Show because I really wanted to get some experience. And for me, it's just been a very, very good experience for me to be able to do this. I mean, there's been so much opportunity here at the Varsity Sports Show. I've had a very great opportunity to work with you and to work with colleagues from Texas. We got one that'll be coming on later this show from California. We got one also later on the show from Florida. So for me, it's just been a good experience to really get to know a lot of people here, including you, Vince. You know, you've really done a great job here at the Varsity Sports Show, helping us out, helping me out. And it's just been a truly a great experience for all of us here at the Varsity Sports Show.
So I want to ask you, and you had mentioned your peers. What's unique about our particular model here with this broadcast internship is the fact that we're kind of like the Statue of Liberty. We're blending a bunch of different people from different backgrounds, different schools together from across the country. We've got Big Pham out in San Diego State University. We've got Douglas Santo and Reilly Robertson here at ASU Cronkite. Yourself out at Wisconsin. We've got Nick Anderson at UNLV. We've got Robert Diaz out at University of Florida in Gainesville. And then, of course, we have Thad Mitchell at Texas Southern University in Houston. And so you're meeting people that are within basically the same major, the same program of study, but different schools, and the blending of ideas. And how did you get into journalism?
For me, I've always been a very big sports fan, right? Ever since, and my family could easily attest to this, that ever since I was a little kid, I've always gone to sporting events. I've always listened to sports journalism all the time. And sports journalism is truly my passion. So for me personally, the way I see it for myself is the reason I took this opportunity from the Varsity Sports Show, and I actually saw this on the University of Wisconsin job website. Not sure how it ended up on there, but regardless of the reason, just for me, sports journalism is something that I've really been always wanting to get into. And the Varsity Sports Show is, for me, it just seemed like the most ideal opportunity. And for any of the viewers here in Arizona or nationwide listening to this on the live link, I would highly recommend going to the Varsity Sports Show. It is definitely an opportunity for us and for our sponsors. I think that for the Varsity Sports Show, it allows you to get into audio, video, test some of the professional equipment. Vince sends you a free polo, which I'm currently wearing on the Varsity Sports Show.
Good for
and we also have professional mics that come in. They are very, very, very good.
Okay.
Direct tone, and it's just for us, it's a great. And you also get sent a tripod that I have right next to me as well. You get hands-on professional experience instantly.
You're giving away our trade secrets. Now, no, that's funny, and I appreciate that. It is obviously important. There are some skill sets that students come to us with, so we're not totally starting from scratch and nobody having any type of journalism experience and reporting experience. But one thing that's really impressed me about you, Mark, this summer semester is that when we're putting out, so we meet every Sunday night, basically. The last few Sundays I've had to record those meetings, send them to you. You guys have been really good about watching them and asking questions and whatnot. But Sunday is our big kind of powwow session where we'll go through and we'll talk about the week ahead and the week that we just finished, how things went, and if we have a particular theme we're working on. And so I'll throw a topic out there to our team and I'll say, okay, this week, Arizona. And you guys, your job essentially is to find content and to find topics, to find interviewees, guests that you're going to feature, that you're going to feature on the show. You've pulled some pretty good interviews. Like last week we were in Vegas, and you got the soccer coach from UNLV. I mean, it is tough. It's tough to find active student athletes and coaches from NC2A schools to come on because their time is so limited. It's so monopolized that they don't have a lot of time to do anything outside of their job. And how have you been able to do that?
Well, for me, interviews can be hard to get sometimes. I've had instances where coaches just don't respond. And I know that can be very frustrating as a journalist. There are times where you do have to be a little pushy as a journalist because sometimes then you have to send a follow-up email because you're on a time crunch. We have to get all of our interviews and segments in by Thursday at noon Pacific time. So they're always hard. But for me, I was able to get her because her email happened to be right on the official UNLV website.
Yeah.
And the key to reaching out too is, and I've had to learn this, you can't reach out like you're reaching out to your friend in a very informal way. You have to be very formal. Talk about what the Varsity Sports Show is and talk about why you want to bring them on, because it's almost like that so what factor, right? If you don't give them a good reason to take 5 minutes out of their day to come on, what are the chances they're going to say yes, right? So I think professionalism and being formal is a very, very key component when you're reaching out to people.
That is awesome. That is great advice right there. That takeaway right there, I think, is a difference maker because you've been able to pull some pretty good interviews based off of your introductions and introducing yourself, selling yourself, talking about the program, and that's hard. It's hard to because people don't take rejection well. I remember when I was when I was in Boy Scouts and we used to have to sell those world-famous chocolate bars, and I'd stand in front of the grocery store and people would walk by and say, no. And then you'd get one that said yes, and it would make your day. But then you'd have 20 more no's. And it's hard to take rejection. But doing it in a manner, presenting yourself, you got one chance to make a strong first impression. You've been able to do that, and that's been very impressive. About you, Mark, and it's going to carry you far. What do you ultimately want to do? So obviously, let's talk short term. You're using the platform this summer. You're developing some skill sets, strengthening them, getting yourself out there. After this semester, what are your goals? And after college?
So starting this fall, I'm going into my senior year at college. I graduate in May of 2025. Time has definitely flown, and I know my dad said right before I started my freshman year that college is going to go by so fast, so enjoy it, and that's what I've done. But to answer your question, Vince, I'm hoping to really expand myself in journalism outside of sports too, because, sports journalism is very competitive, especially when you're only starting entry level. So my preference is definitely sports journalism for sure.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to be more open to other aspects of journalism too, because, I really think that opens up more opportunities, and it just for me allows me to get more opportunities and to get to meet new people. So I really want to try to expand my journalism stuff, not just in sports like my main preferences, but just kind of all around too, because journalism is such a broad topic, right? There's so much that goes on in the journalism world, right? So I definitely want to keep exploring that too.
Awesome. Mark, I am really excited. Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison co-hosting today from Madison, Wisconsin here at the Varsity Sports Show. I'm excited that you're going to be driving today. You're going to be steering the ship. I'm going to kind of put it on autopilot while you run this. I'll be here, I'll be here. But you're going to be driving this sucker the next 2 hours. I'm so excited for all the work that you put in this week, because a lot of work goes into prepping. It's like getting ready for a game, big football game. You work your tail off throughout the week so that when it comes game day, you just kind of take a deep breath, put the headset on, and start talking. But everything is scripted. You've done a great job planning. You've got your peers that'll be joining us live throughout the show. This is a culmination of a lot of teamwork throughout the week and a lot of solo work that you put in. And here we go, man. No pressure on you, but Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Mark, take it away. What's coming up next?
It's coming up next right after the break. We got our very own Mac Pham from San Diego State University. He will have an interview with Desert Edge football assistant coach Jacob Seliga. We will have that 5-minute interview. We will also call them in as well. And again, this is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be back right after the break.
Listener rewards for you with the KDUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KDUS 1060 app.
APAC is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, APAC has you covered. Call APAC, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Anderson. I'm a sports broadcasting student at the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV. I am stoked to start creating visual and audio segments along with broadcasting and sideline reporting for different games this season. As a writer for the UNLV Scarlet and Gray, I can provide insightful knowledge on a variety of different sports. I am excited to be a part of the team this season and looking forward to kicking off the year right on the Varsity Sports Show.
Have you downloaded the KDUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. I am live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, alongside co-host Vince Delisio. Up next, we have Pham from San Diego State University interviewing Desert Edge football assistant coach Jacob Seliga. Take it away, Aaron.
I'm Pham from San Diego State for the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here with Jacob Seliga. He is a high school assistant coach, a defensive lineman's head coach at Desert Edge High School. Seliga started off as a journalist in high school and then found a new passion in coaching high school football.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, I loved and enjoyed the journalism side of things. I mean, I've been doing it since my senior year of high school. And I mean, that's about 4 years worth of journalism now. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great experience, but for me, I'd always had this passion to coach. I always knew that coaching was something I wanted to pursue. And for me, I always thought back to my sophomore year of high school. I was at a new school and I had two coaches who, even though we weren't necessarily the best team, that poured a lot of time, energy, and effort into me. And so it was one of those things where I always felt, they poured into me. It's eventually at some point I need to pour into the next generation to keep that going because, I think high school football in particular, there's no better way to help mold young men and young people in general into the type of people we want to have out here in this world. And so with me, it's just, I loved writing about kids. I love telling their stories, whether it's on a podcast or whatever. But being on the sidelines and actually building these kids up has been something I've always wanted to do.
Outside of coaching the X's and O's to get wins, Seliga spoke about the importance of teaching life lessons to his players.
I would say the biggest goal overall for me is just try and get as many of these young men to college as possible. because at the end of the day, yeah, it's cool and all. We could go, 10-0 in the regular season, sweep the postseason, have a perfect season, win a championship, have all of that. But if we aren't sending these kids to college and we aren't preparing them for the world, I failed as a coach. And I feel like the rest of the staff would agree on that, because at the end of the day, that glory of, holding up that golden ball at Mount America Stadium or whatever it may be, it's fun in the short term. But if we're not preparing these people for the long term and preparing them to go out in the world and be productive and be good husbands and fathers and just people in general, then we failed. And so I would say that's the biggest thing, is just getting these men to college, but also preparing them to be the best version of themselves that they can be and be good people in this world.
Seliga spoke about his philosophy and his expectations from his players.
I would say the biggest thing that I know as a staff that we kind of push is just, I want us to have 100% effort, energy, and intensity every single play. I don't care if you're lining up against a 5-star left tackle or if you're lining up against a Joe Schmo from wherever. If you are giving 100% effort, intensity every single rep, you're going to wear down whomever is in front of you, and you are going to be able to get into the backfield, make a play, blow up that dive before he can even hit the hole, or hit that quarterback and maybe force a fumble. So I would say that's the biggest thing that we've kind of been preaching, is like, hey, there was a great saying, and I'm mad I'm blanking on it right now. It's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and Joes. And so, schematically, we could do a lot of different things for our D-line and even our blitzing backers or whomever to, get into the backfield. But the biggest thing is just preaching like, hey, technique-wise, if you're as perfect as you can be technique-wise and you are giving us 100% effort, you're going to blow up a play every single time.
Thank you so much for your insight. You gave an incredible perspective. Good luck to your football team for this upcoming season. This was Jacob Seliga, assistant coach on the defensive line for Desert Edge. And for the Varsity Sports Show, and from San Diego State, I'm Pham.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM, Arizona. I am live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And we just got done with Pham's interview with Jacob Seliga. Mac, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mac, I can hear you all right, my man. So you did an interview with Desert Edge football assistant coach Jacob Seliga, and it was a great interview to listen to. But my question to you is, what stood out to you the most about this interview that made it very interesting to you and our viewers here?
Definitely his maturity, definitely Jacob Seliga's maturity, and understand that for him as a coach, beyond just trying to get wins, it's about preparing his players, the high school players, for life, for the real world, and teaching them life lessons.
Well, yeah, man, that's very awesome to hear, man. Jacob Seliga definitely seems like a very great coach. My other question to you is, do you know anything about how, like, to me, there's a mutual connection, right, between the coach and the players and vice versa. What did you learn about with him, about in terms of his connection with the players and vice versa as well?
The biggest thing was his connection with his players is not just on the field at football practice, but also on campus. Jacob Seliga also told me that he works on campus, so when he's on campus, he's also working with kids and seeing his football players there as well, and just his presence as a coach, and according to him, his presence as a coach and the other coaches, their presence on campus makes an impact on the kids, because they tend to stay out of trouble with the presence of coaches on campus.
Well, yeah, man. So just maybe while we got 30 more seconds here, can you just briefly explain to people here about the team, just briefly, about how do you think this team is going to improve next season?
I think they have a lot of talent. I think they have potential. The most important thing is the coaching staff. Like I said, I think the main theme has been, as much as they strive to get wins, it's also them, the kids, learning life lessons that they can apply to the real world.
Well, it's very awesome to hear. Thank you so much, Mac, for hopping on. It was a great opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Up next, we have the Midwest Report, brought to you by myself, Mark Buerger, talking about the Milwaukee Brewers first half, and Reilly Robertson talking about Nebraska football. And after the break, we will get into Nick Anderson's from UNLV interview with Jason Apodaca, varsity basketball head coach for Cienega High School. And again, this is Mark Buerger from the Varsity Sports Show. Take it away, Aaron.
The Midwest Report.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Let's recap the Milwaukee Brewers baseball season from the first half prior to the All-Star game. The Milwaukee Brewers have already exceeded expectations under first-year manager Pat Murphy after previous manager Craig Counsell left for their rival Chicago Cubs. The Brewers have fared very well with their first year under Pat Murphy, with a 55-42 record and a plus 79 run differential, with a 29-17 home record at American Family Field and one game above 500 on the road. They are 4.5 games ahead of the second-place St. Louis Cardinals, and as we stand today, the Milwaukee Brewers are in a very good spot. Their offense has definitely played well, with a .255 team batting average, as outfielder Christian Yelich and catcher William Contreras were both all-stars for the Milwaukee Brewers. Also seeing big home run outputs from Willy Adames with 15 home runs and Rhys Hoskins with 14 home runs. Pitching has been a concern, though, as 3 starters, Robert Gasser, Wade Miley, and Brandon Woodruff, have been out for the entire season. And so they've been down 3 starters for most of the season, but they have fared pretty well with Freddie Peralta, Aaron Savali, Colin Ray, and Tobias Myers leading the charge in the starting rotation, with Trevor McGill taking over for Devin Williams in the bullpen as the all-star closer, with a .205 ERA. Devin Williams has been out since spring training, but they're hoping to get him back just after the all-star break to bolster that bullpen. The bullpen has also seen a big breakout year from former Dodger Brian Hudson, Elvis Peguero, and Joel Payams and Bryce Wilson as they look to make a run to win the NL Central once again. And again, this is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Hi, this is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. The University of Nebraska football team has a storied history and an incredibly strong fan base that has stayed loyal throughout all of its ups and downs. Although things haven't been great for Nebraska football these past few years, this year comes with big expectations. The Cornhuskers haven't had a bowl game appearance since 2016, something that head coach Matt Rule is hoping to change this season. There have been a couple big news stories to come out of Nebraska. One being athletic director Trev Alberts' out-of-the-blue departure to move to Texas A&M. He has since been replaced by Troy Dannon, previously the University of Washington's athletic director. One huge highlight for the program is their defense, which they hope to improve on even more in this upcoming season. Last season, the Huskers ranked 11th nationally and 5th in the Big Ten in total defense. With the retention of defensive coordinator Tony White, they hope to keep up the impressive defensive show. 2 linebackers worth mentioning that are returning this year are John Bullock and Gavin Wright. Both Bullock and Wright were an integral part of the team last year, each being credited with 50 and 51 tackles on the year. One key difference that is going to make or break Nebraska football is going to be their ability to complete passes. Last year, Nebraska had a completion percentage of 52% with 31 turnovers. Both of those numbers are concerningly high and will need to be trimmed down if they want to win more games and possibly get to a bowl game this year. Although these past couple years of Nebraska football haven't been highlight reels, the history is incredibly strong and their fan base is even stronger. I am hopeful that the Huskers will be able to play a bowl game this year and have an overall successful season. This is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Turn those picks into gold. Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM1060 and KDUS1060.com.
The AngryCrabShack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. AngryCrabShack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The AngryCrabShack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hello everyone, my name is Robert Diaz. I'm a sports journalism major at the University of Florida. I am very excited to join the Varsity Sports Show. I intend to cover the NBA playoffs, but I'm open to covering any sport. I can't wait to share my expert analysis throughout the semester and hope to deliver a great listening experience.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. I am live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Up next, we have our very own Nick Anderson from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, interviewing with Jason Apodaca, varsity head basketball coach for Cienega High School. Aaron, take it away.
This is Nicholas Anderson from the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. This week, I had the pleasure to talk to Arizona's Cienega Bobcats High School basketball head coach Jason Apodaca, discussing his journey and his team's success with Cienega, along with discussing the importance of leadership and his prospering group of players. Hear from Coach Apodaca himself on his journey to Cienega.
I've been a head coach for 12 years, but I've been coaching for about 23 years. So I started super young when I got out of it. I think I was about 20 years old. But just like a pathway, I'd done small high school to bigger high school. I spent a stint of like 4 years at Pima College with Coach Peabody as an assistant coach. And then I got back into high school in just a couple of avenues. I was at CDO, which is in Oro Valley in Tucson, and then I got offered the job here at Cienega. And then I had the opportunity, and it happened to be my wife and I and family. We live out this way as well. So when I got offered the job, it was a no-brainer. And then we have, amazing staff. We have a full-time strength and conditioning coach who's amazing, and that really is advancement for our kids because they lift year-round. And then we got our basketball thing going. We've been really, really good these last couple of years.
Coach Apodaca also talks about how he built his program and what he is looking for in student athletes to become successful at Cienega.
We really look at kids that do it right at school, student athletes first. We got rid of kids that are troublemakers, that are uncoachable. We got really, really good kids in our program, and that's really important to me. Being on campus full-time as a teacher, those guys are a product of what I put out there, so it's really important to me that they act right. So I have great staff. The kids work really hard. They just needed some discipline. So coachability-wise, they've been really good. And we've been, blessed to have really good athletes go through, and kids believing in the system of what we do and then working really hard to make us, we look at ourselves as trying to be the best team in Southern Arizona. And then when we get to state, we got to compete. We just feel comfortable we can compete with anyone. The kids play certain to their level, and we compete and we believe, and that's how we have a really good chance. So we did a really, really good job. I think, we had 18 PowerPoint games last year. We were 15-3. So only a few of our losses were from those tournaments in Phoenix, which I'm all for because we want to play really good teams, and that's the way to, stretch ourselves. Winning our conference back-to-back has been amazing. So the buzz for us is really good here, and I have expectations. I expect us to be right there every year.
After a tough playoff loss, Coach Apodaca talked about the adversity the team faced and how they used that as motivation and as a learning stone for the team.
We just didn't produce in our home game there. We did everything high seed and all that. We came back, we just couldn't get over the hump. I was still super proud. I'll never base it just on that, but we're right there, and we'll expect to be there again, hosting again this year, and get a couple under us and try to get semis or state championship games, so we can, that's our goal every year, and I think we have a chance to do it.
Coach Apodaca also spoke on his group of prospering players and how they have developed over the course of the season.
Jackson already has a varsity under his belt. He's as good as they advertised. I think he's the best point guard in Southern Arizona. He's super coachable too. He's an amazing student. He has a 4.0. He does a lot of good things. He's a good leader. He's very coachable, but he's a facility. He does it all though. He can score, pass. He plays really good defense, and he's got just a great mindset of a competition mindset. Yeah, Jaden will be, the sky's the limit for him. He's unbelievable. He is one of the most talented kids I've ever coached. He's the best kid I've, in say 23 years I've ever seen anticipate, steal the ball. In our top 8-9 rotation, we have 4 or 5 older guys and then 3 or 4 younger guys. And that's what with another guys up and coming, but this group really gelled together well. And then we have experience and guys that are younger, but they got experience.
Coach Apodaca is excited for the upcoming season and has already competed in tournaments over the summer to prepare for the 2024-25 season.
But we did great. We competed at a high level. We got 3rd place in Summer 64. And then, which was a really big, we played, what did we play? Chandler Hamilton in the 3rd place game and beat them. And then moves on to Section 7 qualifier, and we took care of business there. We beat Cactus Shadows in the championship. And also in California for UCSD, we went 5-1, and we lost to a team from Colorado, but we just played at a really high level. And for me, it's good for these guys. Our team bonding, we get to really do a lot together. We go out to eat, we stay with hotels or dorms and the whole 9 yards there. And I'm big on that because I feel like the best teams work together. They also get along really well. If you're going to win at that level and win the state championship, stuff like that, you can't have a team of individuals or kids that don't care about each other. They have to be on the same page and willing to, sacrifice for each other. So that's big for us. First and foremost is to win our conference. So to win our conference for the 3rd straight year. And then we want to get into the Open. Is a big deal for us to see if we can advance there. And then hosting 5A. Again, every year we sit it down. I started here, so we're trying to win the 5A state championship. So that'll be our ultimate goal, but you got to knock off the ones before it to make that opportunity. Got to get to state, you got to win. That's our focus, and we just take it one game at a time.
With legacies left behind and experienced talent rolling in, Cienega has all the firepower it needs to capture that elusive state championship next season. We wish Coach Apodaca and the Cienega Bobcats the best heading into next season. Make sure to follow them on social media and keep up with them throughout the 2024-25 season. From the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nicholas Anderson.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona, live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We just had the Nick Anderson interview with Cienega head coach here. And Nick, are you there?
I'm here, Mark. How's it going?
I am not too bad, my man. So just going into this interview, it really seems like you interviewed a very strong coach here who just coached a very, very good point guard from Cienega. What were your impressions about this point guard, first and foremost?
Yeah, so I want to give a big shout out to Jason Apodaca, again, for interviewing. Great guy, great head coach. And he speaks about his point guard, and it's his point guard, Jackson Moore. And he elaborates on the importance of academics and how important that is, academics over sports, his 4.0 GPA, and that academics is transitioning from there onto the basketball court. And he's showing a leadership as a freshman. I mean, the kid's 15, 16 years old, and he's in a leadership role already where he's already got a year of varsity under his belt. So it's really just him being focused and him already having a good head on his shoulders and him already getting guided in the right direction. It's really good to see.
Yeah, man, and with Apodaca as well, I think it's extremely important to have that mutual connection between him and the player, and vice versa. How based on the interview that you did with him, I'm just curious, how important do you think that mutual connection is between the coach and the player and vice versa?
It's everything. It's important to have a strong connection with coach the player or player the coach. And the coach is everything. And, you heard Apodaca with his experiences. He coached 23 years of just coaching whenever he started. This is only his third season in Cienega. And, his first season they went 10-11, and then the last couple seasons they went 19-9 and 21-9. So he's been able to gain a connection with all of his players and, build them from the ground up to become a powerhouse in Southern Arizona. So it's really important for a coach and a player to have a mutual connection with each other to get on the same page to be successful.
All right. And then just one more very quick question here for you. How do you think they're going to do next season?
I'm expecting a state championship from them. I think they can do it. Coach Apodaca has his team in place. They're competing in tournaments over the summer. They're bonding over the summer. They're ready, locked, and loaded, and I think they're going to do really well.
Well, thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much for coming on. It was great having you here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Nick. Up next, we have the East Coast report from our very own Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern talking about the ACC conference expansion, and Robert Diaz from the University of Florida talking about the Miami Heat draft that they just did. Aaron, take it away.
The East Coast report.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Today, we're diving into a major shakeup in the world of college sports. The Atlantic Coast Conference, or ACC, is expanding its membership. The ACC announced that it will welcome Southern Methodist University, Stanford University, and the University of California at Berkeley into its ranks. This expansion will bring the ACC's total membership to 18 schools. The departure of Stanford and Cal from the Pac-12 conference is really impactful. It leaves the 108-year-old conference with just two schools, Oregon State and Washington State. This highlights the ongoing evolution of college athletics. Adding SMU to the ACC, a Dallas-based university, represents a major geographic expansion with the conference traditionally rooted in North Carolina's Tobacco Road. Previously, Notre Dame and Indiana was the ACC's westernmost member, and Louisville held that title among football members. There was initial resistance from ACC schools like Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and NC State. This expansion is a part of a trend in college sports as conferences try to make their competitive and financial standings even bigger. Even if major schools like Florida State or Clemson were to leave the ACC, the conference now has the numbers and prestige to maintain its prominence. Overall, this ACC expansion reflects the complex nature of college sports. It brings new opportunities and challenges. I'm Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, my name is Robert Diaz of the University of Florida, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. The Miami Heat selected Indiana center Kel'el Ware, listed at 7 foot, 240 pounds, with the number 15 pick in June's draft. And he looked like another Miami mid-round find in his summer league games. That's nothing new for Miami, who thrive on developing picks from the middle of the first round. They love players from established college programs with high basketball IQs. That describes last year's all-rookie first-teamer Jaime Jaquez Jr., number 18 pick out of UCLA, and all-star Bam Adebayo was a 14th pick out of Kentucky, and former Sixth Man of the Year Tyler Hero, number 13 pick, also out of Kentucky. It's an encouraging sign for a Heat team who were the 8th seed last season, but lost their 2023 playoff hero Caleb Martin while only adding Alec Burks and Kel'el Ware. Ware recorded 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 blocks in his first summer league game against the Warriors. Ware then followed up this performance with 26 points on 12 of 21 shooting with 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block in his second game against the Sacramento Kings. Ware then produced 17 points on 7 of 9 field goal shooting, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks in 25 minutes during Saturday's 119-114 Summer League win over Boston. Ware looks to add size to the Miami Heat and play the 5 to allow Bam Adebayo to slot in to the 4. Overall, Ware's future looks bright, and the Miami Heat hope that he keeps his production up in the regular season. Thank you for listening. I'm Robert Diaz with Varsity Sports Show.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to once again be the official broadcast team of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. We are back for another year of HJCAC football. We'll bring you the JUCO Game of the Week, on-site live coverage, weekly JUCO report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show, and coming this fall, the weekly Coaches Show with Coach Doug Madosky. Stay tuned for more. JUCO football is alive and well in Arizona. Brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show and the HJCAC.
Than a mosquito in a news colony. I'm listening to Vince at the Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hey Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. I am currently live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The campus is the perfect, vibrant place to be hosting this radio show, and I am very grateful to bringing this content to you from the whole state capital of the great state of Wisconsin.
Hey, Mark, I've got a quick question for you. Tell me about Camp Randall Stadium at University of Wisconsin. I've heard it's very iconic, very old, very historic. A lot of games won there. A few games lost there as well through history. But what's the vibe of that stadium like on a Saturday in the fall?
I'd say to describe it in 2 words, jump around. For any of you viewers that do not know about our famous tradition at the end of the third quarter at Camp Randall Stadium, we have 80,000 people, which is the seating capacity in the student section itself, 14 to 15,000 people just in the student section alone, top to bottom. It is absolutely remarkable. And even just other than jump around, the atmosphere there is just truly, truly incredible. And Vince, you know, if you ever get a chance to go up to Madison this fall, we got big home games against Alabama, new Big Ten team Oregon, Penn State, and our big rival Minnesota for the Axe. We got a lot of big home games coming up this year, so feel free to come out. We would love to have you here.
How's the team looking for this fall?
Well, I'm hoping they're good. We got a new quarterback from the University of Miami, Tyler Van Dyke. We got Tolly Walker, running back from Oklahoma, and Ches Malusi returning. So I think we're going to have a strong team, but our schedule is definitely very tough. So.
Yeah, but hands down, Madison is definitely a college town then, you would say?
Oh, for sure. 100%. It is definitely a big college town for sure. Okay. And we will now have Robert Diaz from the University of Florida. He will do an interview with Arizona State student Michael Yero. He is very big in the sports social media space. It'll be very exciting to get to learn what he does for Arizona State University. Aaron, take it away.
I'm Robert Diaz of the University of Florida, reporting for Varsity Sports Show. I'm here with Michael Yero, ASU student and entrepreneur, starting his own sports media company. How are you tonight?
Doing well, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. So, First, let's get right into it. What inspired you to start your own online sports media company, and how do you balance your academic responsibilities with meeting the demands of running a business?
Yeah, man. So I started my junior year of high school in January 2020. I played basketball all my life. I was playing basketball at Immaculata LaSalle High School. My junior year came around, and that's when COVID came, and it really challenged me in terms of like what I wanted to do in my future. I really obviously love being in sports and playing basketball, but I knew that wasn't going to be something for me long term. I knew, someday that was going to end. And so, I wanted to stay in the world of sports, regardless of whether I played or not. And, my brother and I have a twin brother named Anthony. We decided to start up a little, a sports page on Instagram. We had a website where we would write articles, 4 or 5 articles a day. Got really consistent with it. Started focusing more on towards social media once we went to school in Arizona, just because of time restrictions, and honestly, we found a good niche for the social side of it. And ever since we've been growing it consistently. We also work remote. I had a job at Yahoo Sports. I've just got a new job at Max Preps running their social media. So definitely it is a challenge to manage all of those things, but I think with the right team, good discipline, and honestly, like, I love doing this. I love sharing stories. I love covering the sport, football, basketball, whatever it is, soccer. Like, I love to do it. So like for me, this isn't even a job. So just being able to enjoy doing this, makes it way easier to wake up and do the same thing over and over again.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And can you share some of your biggest challenges you faced in the initial stage of launching your sports media company, 305 Sports and Yero Step?
Yeah, man. I mean, I would just say the consistency was, is a must. For us, I feel like we really stuck to our word with that. We really went hard at it from the jump, and we grew a following from posting every single day, 3, 4, 5 times a day, going out to events, showing face, and even when we were not in Miami, we're back in Arizona for school. We'll have a team to help us out on Friday nights. We'll prep content. It's a 3-hour time zone difference, so the way we start and finish our mornings, start our mornings and finish at night, prepping posts and stuff like that really do matter. So for us, it was just like, obviously the consistency. Sometimes you're worn out. That's when you got to keep working, man. Honestly, like, obviously we got a lot of work to do still, a lot of growth to do. Trying to get into the event space as well with a 7-on-7 tournament that we're hosting on this Saturday. So, yeah, I would just say the consistency for sure.
And with the rapid evolution of digital media and sports coverage, what innovative strategies or technologies are you implementing to stay ahead of the competition and engage with your audience effectively?
Man, I would just say just going really hard with iPhone clips. Like, obviously, there's a lot of people in this industry that are super talented with professional cameras, and obviously they do their thing, and lots of respect to them. But for us, like, we found a lot of success in just posting good phone clips. Really, like, obviously you need a good camera angle and you need to be at the right place at the right time. But we've done a good job at doing that, attacking that. Anytime we're able to film games or go to events ourselves, we'll make it a priority to film phone clips and just grow that. We know how big the vertical content is now with reels on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. When you really think about it, like, one vertical video can go on so many platforms, and it does make a difference, like, to get your name out and just to grow. So I'll just say, just keep attacking the vertical videos.
All right. Thank you so much for this interview. I'm Robert Diaz with Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. I am live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We have our very own Robert Diaz from the University of Florida. Just had an interview with Michael Yero, an ASU student who is huge in the sports social media space. Robert, are you there?
Yes.
So just tell me about Michael Yero, man. I heard from the interview, he works with Max Preps. That's a big site for high school sports in general. Just tell me about Michael Yero and what he has done for Max Preps in the Arizona State community.
I mean, he's done a lot. He started off like, grassroots, starting with just his high school right there in LaSalle in Miami, and then he ended up, expanding on to, doing really with his 305 Sports and the Yero Step, covering Miami and Arizona, doing both at once. He's kept up his education, and then for Max Preps, he's been contributing social content right there, running the Instagram account, being one of the people who runs the Instagram account, and providing clips, providing his knowledge of high school football and high school sports to help run that account.
Yeah, man, that's very great to hear. So what amazes me is how someone can balance school and the work he does at Max Preps at the same time. I know for me, it's very hard to manage a lot of things at once, but how does Michael Yero do it, man? I'm very curious to hear how he's able to pull all this off.
Well, I mean, he's been doing it since his junior year. Like you said, I joined him, 4 or 5 years ago, being a contributor to 305 Sports, the website, which, it's there, but, it's no longer really their thing. And then being a social media contributor after that, seeing the account go from like 7,000 all the way to where it is now, at close to 200,000 followers, throwing their own events and stuff. Things like that. He's been able to just keep it going. He's been in schooling the entire time he's been doing the account. He's just been, he focused on school, but then, a lot of, like those downtimes, there's no real downtime for him. It's really just, work on the account, focus on it, and, and put the work in, do the preparation. So then that way putting out the clip is very easy. Scheduling it to post is very easy, but you got to make sure that it's all ready. So then that way, you have the time for yourself and the time to, really perfect it and make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Well, yeah, man. It's very great to hear. And I mean, I know it's very hard to manage what he's been able to do with Max Preps in Arizona State, but to really me, it sounds like he's made an impact on the sports social media space. And it's just very great to see people out there impacting their community on campus. They're doing it with other sports sites. It's a very great thing to hear, man. So, yeah, thank you so much for hopping on, Robert. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, up next, we have our very own Douglas Santo. He is going to be from the Arizona State University. He's going to be interviewing with Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury executive producer, Bob Adlhoch. And, I think the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury, they've been both getting popular. And I think about the Phoenix Mercury, how the Mercury have been getting very popular, especially with Brittany Griner and the talent on that team. The Footprint Center has been getting very loud this season and for seasons to come as well for the Suns and the Mercury. And for me, I know the WNBA has been getting so much more popular. We're going to get to learn more about that as Douglas Santo from Arizona State University will be having a chance to talk with executive producer from the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury, Bob Adlhoch. And this is Mark Buerger from the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. Thank you so much. We'll be right back after the break.
What is up, everyone? My name is Mark Buerger, and I just finished my junior year where I am a journalism student at the Journalism School at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I am very grateful for the opportunity at the Varsity Sports Show, and with my sports knowledge and enthusiasm for the games, I will bring an energy to the show to give you all the best sports content.
The AngryCrabShack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. AngryCrabShack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The AngryCrabShack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. APAC is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, APAC has you covered. Call APAC, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase.
Hey everyone, I'm Thaddaeus Mitchell from Ball Springs, Texas, and I am a senior studying radio, television, and film in the Martin Luther King School of Communications at Texas Southern University. I am very excited to join the Varsity Sports Show this summer, and I will be giving you quality news on basketball, football, baseball, and all other sports.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Radio Arizona. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Up next here on the Varsity Sports Show, we have our very own Douglas Santo interviewing Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury executive producer Bob Adlhoch, as well as also important to note, the WNBA All-Star Game will be taking place right here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Footprint Center. We are expecting a very big crowd at the All-Star Game, so it'll be very interesting to hear Doug Santo's insight with Bob Adlhoch, not just on the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury, and obviously the Phoenix Mercury getting a lot more popular, but the WNBA All-Star Game is in Phoenix, so it'll be very interesting to get to know more about him, the Suns, the Mercury, and get to know more about the WNBA All-Star Game. So, with all that being said, Aaron, take it away.
Good morning. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. This week, I had the chance to talk with the Suns executive producer, Bob Adlhoch, about what he does with the Suns and Mercury and the growth he's seen in the two teams and markets. Bob is responsible for the content that goes into the television broadcasts of the Suns and Mercury games and any pregame, halftime, and postgame shows. He explained to me what he does in between the WNBA and NBA seasons.
There are a lot of things that we kind of evaluate about our broadcast. What do we like? What don't we like? What changes might we want to make? What sponsorship elements do we have? Maybe some sponsors are leaving. Maybe we're onboarding new sponsors. Maybe longtime sponsors will say that they want, their in-game elements kind of refreshed, or they want to go a different direction. They have a different initiative, a different marketing tagline. Last summer, when we made the transition from Bally Sports to AZ Family, and we were kind of launching this brand new over-the-air broadcast, there was a lot of work in that off season. We had to come up with our graphics package, what music we'd be using, animations within the broadcast, all those visual elements that you see and the sounds you hear all had to, kind of be thought out ahead of time and either produced, selected, worked with vendors on.
Then Bob explained how having big stars in your market affects a broadcast.
When the team's really successful and has a lot of star power, it changes how you go into a game or a broadcast on a given night. What I mean by that is sports is kind of the last bastion of actual live TV. The news is live, but it's largely scripted unless there's a warehouse fire or something like that. There's your A block, your B block, your C block. Everybody involved with the production kind of knows where you're going. With a live sporting event, and I mean, basketball is the epitome of it, we script the first maybe 3 minutes of the broadcast. But once that ball gets tossed up at the center circle, we have no idea what's going to happen. So the content of the broadcast is largely determined by what's happening on the floor. We can have a lot of pre-produced elements for Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi, any of them. And if one of them twists an ankle right before the game, as Kevin Durant did, you might remember last season, he was supposed to make his home debut one night, and he just inadvertently turned his ankle in warmups. Our entire pregame show was kind of based around, this is the Phoenix debut of Kevin Durant in a Suns jersey, and his ankle turn happened 30 minutes before we went on the air.
From there, Bob explained how they have to pivot with their content and work on finding out how the injury is being categorized. Then he explained how stars like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker draw audiences in.
So those are instances where generally we don't know what we're going to broadcast in most of the game. We have elements that are prepared that usually come out of commercial breaks or maybe at halftime or in a pregame show, maybe a feature that we prepared on something that happened recently. And telling the stories of players like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant will always draw more eyeballs.
But Bob emphasized the importance of telling the great stories of other guys on the team as well.
So I think knowing that you have a lot more eyeballs on you gives you an opportunity to amplify whatever stories you're telling. And in that case, knowing that you have more eyeballs, we feel it's important to tell the stories of all of our players, to tell the great stories of Gerald Green.
Bob also talked about Saban Lee and his story as a two-way player coming from Corona del Sol High School. Then he described the growth of the WNBA and women's sports in general over the last few years, with the WNBA All-Star Game taking place in Phoenix later today.
I think the light that has been shined on women's sports, the WNBA, women's basketball, women's college basketball and their Final Fours and their March Madness the last couple of years has been crazy in terms of excitement, fan interest, viewership, all that. I think it's culminating right now. Well, it seems to culminate a lot of different times. It culminated with the first Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark matchup in the WNBA. And then it was a big matchup when Caitlin Clark came here as the rookie and was facing off for the first time ever against Diana Taurasi, who was sort of Caitlin Clark 20 years ago, was this player that played a little bit different with all the swagger and could shoot from anywhere on the court, was the #1 overall pick. There were so many similarities. And these just sort of tentpole events keep coming up. We're going to have the All-Star Game here in Phoenix and all the festivities around that. We move along to the Olympics in Paris for both the men and the women. But I think you're going to find, there's even increased interest in the Women's Olympic game as well. It's just a really, really exciting time. As somebody who's been around and worked for the Suns and Mercury for most of the Mercury's existence, we welcome everybody on board. We've known it's been a great product for a really long time, and we're excited that the rest of the world is kind of catching on and seeing that, these ladies can hoop.
As the WNBA and women's sports continue to grow, this All-Star Weekend in Phoenix and the Olympics later this summer will be big steps in the right direction. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Douglas Santo.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. This is Mark Buerger, live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We just heard the interview from our very own Douglas Santo from Arizona State University, who interviewed Suns and Mercury executive producer Bob Adlhoch. Doug, are you there?
I am. How are you, Mark?
I am very well, Doug. Thanks for asking. So just a question about the Suns and the Mercury. I've heard the Suns have been very popular because of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, but the Mercury have been really gaining popularity, right? And especially with the All-Star Game coming up later today in Phoenix.
Yeah, they certainly have, and I think just the WNBA and women's sports in general over the last few years have really just the growth in the sport and the awareness of the sport has grown a lot, and I think this weekend for the WNBA is a big weekend to just kind of show the progress they've made and put it on display for everyone to see.
Yeah, and just one more question for just real quick here. We're expecting a pretty big crowd at the Footprint Center later tonight. We got Team USA against the WNBA All-Stars, and ironically, Caitlin Clark, who didn't make Team USA, will be playing against her own her own country's team. That's going to be pretty remarkable to watch on TV, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that almost will like bring more viewers in because, you know, Caitlin Clark not making Team USA was a bit of a controversial thing. But now you being able to see her play up against the women in the league that are going to play for Team USA instead of her, I think it'll draw a lot of eyes and a lot of attention to the game tonight. And I think that's really good for the sport.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for hopping on. Thank you so much, Doug, for hopping on. We'll be talking about the All-Star game. The All-Star game is definitely a very, very cool thing. We're very excited about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Doug. Well, up next, we have our very own Jason Hersh for Scottsdale Sabercats Youth Football. Jason Hersh, are you there?
Hello, this is Jason.
Yep, Jason. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. How you doing this morning?
Thank you, Jason. How are you? How are you doing?
Excellent. Excellent. Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you so much for coming back on here. So just tell me a little about your coaching staff, what you do, and what your other coaches do for Scottsdale Sabercats Youth Football, and just what it's about in general.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're very, very excited to be launching the Scottsdale Sabercats. This is our inaugural year. You know, none of it really would have been possible without the support first of our hosting school, Saguaro High School and Saguaro football program. You know, the administration over there, Matt Harris, Frank Rubin, varsity coach Darius Kelly, they've just been so welcoming, so gracious in helping us establish the Scottsdale Sabercats. And, you know, being aligned with a program of that stature and support is just such a benefit for our young men. The facilities that we're able to use, it's, you know, it's next level. And, you know, what we're all about, Scottsdale Sabercats, and I mean, there's a ton of good youth programs that are out there in Arizona. Our focus really is about preparing our young men for high school with discipline, accountability, on and off the field activities. You know, football is the ultimate team game with life lessons all over the place that you learn. And really that all starts with the families that we have, which are absolutely amazing. The support that they've given us to be all in to, in our first year, to establish 4 teams. So we're going to have a 10U, an 11U, a 12U, and a 13U team is really special. And to support those athletes, we have over 30 coaches across all our teams. And what I'm really, really proud of is we have a great diversity of non-parent coaches. And every team has anywhere from 2 to 4 active high school coaches or pro-level coaches without kids on the team. And they're just there to give back to our families, our kids, and to pour back into the football community that's given them so much. So to have such leaders, business owners, and, you know, strong mentors around our athletes, it's pretty special. We're super excited.
Well, it's very awesome to hear. So yeah, Jason Hersh here is the director of this entire organization. It directs all of the teams here. And what is just briefly describe to me, what is your 5-year, maybe 10-year plan down the road for this organization moving forward?
You know, it's something that we're really proud about. You know, whenever a player or a family comes to play with us, it's not just about a season, right? It's, you know, it depends when they start, but we hope it's a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year journey with us, but it's about the life of football, the community of football, you know, the 365, 24/7 of what it takes to actually play at the next level. So outside of our tackle football, you know, we'll take the athletes into sevens and other activities such as, you know, fueling and training and different components of helping them become their best self. We're super excited about starting our future NIL Academy, with NIL being now approved in the state of Arizona, and also starting our foundation for our youth athletes, which will help with future scholarships and future opportunities to elevate our young men, because we want the Sabercats to be a platform. We want it to be a springboard, you know, and not just for our athletes. We want it to be for our coaches as well. If our coaches can springboard out of youth football into high school or future opportunities, that's what we're really hoping to cultivate and to create that community where we support one another and ongoing and year round.
Well, yeah, and just one last question for you, Jason. What does it require to get something off the ground like that in terms of launching a new youth sport organization? It doesn't sound very simple, right?
No, it's far from simple, man. It's a ton of work. The first thing is just community. I keep going back to that. It's having the people that believe in the same mission, and we put our kids first. Everything's about the kids, and we at practice and everything else. Look, we all have life and work, and there's things that happen, but we got to leave that in the parking lot. And when you get there, it's the joy of seeing the kids successful. It's the joy of making the people around you better and them making you better. So I just feel super grateful to be surrounded by so many like-minded, professional and active people. There's an energy and a heartbeat with the Scottsdale Sabercats right now that's truly special. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding. The same thing we instill in our athletes. Not to give up, to keep fighting, to always improve. Even if there's a loss, you build from it, right? So
exactly,
it's the same thing that we have to remind ourselves. And it's been pretty special. Again, having the support of Saguaro, so having a high school, having the coaching staff and the families and the players, and great team managers.
It's so
awesome
great to
volunteers.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Jason Hersh, for coming on. Thanks for talking with us. Great to hear about the youth organization. It's really great to get to hear about the Scottsdale Sabercats, and I hope more young people can get into that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if anyone's interested, you can see more about us at www.scottsdalesabercats.com or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or X.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thanks for hopping on. Well, up next after the break, we will have a West Coast preview with Nick Anderson featuring King of the West, the best high school football teams on the West Coast. After that, we will have our very own Mac Pham from San Diego State University talking about new Big Ten member about Oregon football. Got a new Big Ten team coming into the Big Ten, as well as Douglas Santo from Arizona State talking about San Jose State football. We will be back right after the break on the Varsity Sports Show.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
APAC is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, APAC has you covered. Call APAC, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to once again be the official broadcast team of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. We are back for another year of HJCAC football. We'll bring you the JUCO Game of the Week, on-site live coverage, weekly JUCO report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show, and coming this fall, the weekly Coaches Show with Coach Doug Medoski. Stay tuned for more. JUCO football is alive and well in Arizona. Brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show and the HJCAC.
Hello everyone, my name is Douglas Santo and I am a sports journalism major at the Cronkite School at ASU. I am extremely excited to work with the varsity sports team this summer and bring you upbeat and informative sports stories. With the MLB in full swing, the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs in motion, the Olympics later this summer, and the WNBA underway in the Caitlin Clark era, this summer will be a blast.
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
This is Mark Buerger from the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome back to KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. Up next, we got some very fun topics for you. We're going to the West Coast, which you all seem to be very familiar with. We will start off with Nick Anderson from UNLV. He will talk about King of the West, the best high school football teams on the West Coast. It'll be great to get to know about that. Up next after that, we will have our very own Mac Pham from San Diego State University talking about Oregon football. Oregon has just recently joined the Big Ten Conference. They'll be in our conference. Of course, I go to the University of Wisconsin myself. We're Big Ten, and we'll get to welcome Oregon football to the Big Ten Conference. It should be extremely fun. We'll get to know more about their football team heading into their first Big Ten season. And then after that, we'll have Douglas Santo from Arizona State talking about San Jose State football. I don't know much about them myself, but that's what he is. He is there for you. Will give us the inside scoop on San Jose State football, and we'll get to know about Oregon, San Jose State, and King of the West from Nick, Beck, and Doug. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be right back after the West Coast show. Aaron, take it away.
The West Coast Report.
This is Nicholas Anderson from the Hanks Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. High school football in the West region is known for its competitive spirit and high-level talent. States like California, Utah, and Nevada are hotspots for emerging athletes, with many players going on to successful college and professional careers. And with the preseason rankings out now, it's time to decipher who really is the King of the West. Starting off leading the pack for the upcoming season, according to Max Preps, California's Mater Dei strikes the #1 preseason spot as the best team not only in the West, but in the country. Coming off a third-ranked national and a #1 ranked team in California, Mater Dei looks to shake up the high school football rankings again and defend their elusive state championship. Right behind Mater Dei is last year's #1 ranked team in the country, Bishop Gorman out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Gorman walked over anyone that stood in their way and cruised to a state championship. They look to defend their title once again and climb back to that nationally #1 ranking. The 4th ranked spot in the preseason poll belongs to the St. John's Bosco Braves out of California. After an impressive 11-2 season, the Braves look to shock the rankings after coming off a state championship loss to Mater Dei. They're no stranger to winning, as just a year ago, they took home the state championship of their own in the 2022-23 season. Don't be surprised if the Braves start to make waves during the season. At number 8, California has a 3rd team in the top 25 heading into next season, the Centennial Huskies out of Corona, California. After a 9-3 season and going through a juggernaut of a schedule, the Huskies' schedule is no different, as they have a massive hill to climb if they want to secure a #1 rank nationally. A couple familiar faces strike the board, as once again California's Sierra Canyon Trailblazers and Utah's Corner Canyon Chargers sit right beside each other at number 17 and 18. The Trailblazers look to climb back to the top after an 11-1 season, and Utah State champions Corner Canyon looks to defend their throne. Finally, to close out the top 25 preseason rankings according to Max Preps is California's both Orange Lutheran Lancers and the Folsom Bulldogs, 2 California teams who are coming off a great season and look to shock the polls once again this year. It's no secret that California is the mecca of high school football, with stacked teams year in and year out. High school football is in for another crazy ride, and time for new faces to jump on the bandwagon for fans all over to keep up with your favorite teams. From the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nicholas Anderson.
I'm Mac Pham from San Diego State, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. With college football just around the corner, let's shift the focus to the Oregon Ducks. The Ducks finished last season 7th in the AP Top 25. One of the main focuses for the Ducks has been transfer quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Gabriel played for the Oklahoma Sooners last year and passed for over 3,000 yards, completing nearly 70% of his passes, and scored 42 touchdowns. Earlier this week, Gabriel became the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy at ESPN Bet in a rare July shift. He surpassed previous favorites Georgia quarterback Carson Beck and Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers for college football's highest honor of recognition. As Gabriel steps into Oregon, he has already received high praise from his teammates. Senior linebacker Jeffrey Basso said, "Gabriel recently said this past week in front of the whole team, We're going to get the best version of him. He said, I'm here to work now. I'm here to be the greatest. I'm here to help y'all. Y'all are going to get the best version of me. Now, looking ahead into the future, the Ducks have their eyes on 5-star tight end Kendra Harrison. Harrison is the number 1 ranked tight end in the class of 2026. Harrison listed Oregon as one of his top 6 schools. According to a report from Yahoo, Harrison also plays basketball and wants to pick a school that excels in both sports. Oregon's basketball team won the Pac-12 and bowed out in the second round in the March Madness tournament last year. For the Varsity Sports Show and from San Diego State, I'm Pham.
Good morning. I'm Douglas Santo from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. San Jose State football will be in a transition year in 2024. The Spartans saw 7-year head coach Brent Brennan move on to the University of Arizona this offseason. San Jose State brought in former Navy head coach Ken Niumatalolo to replace Brennan. Coach Brennan turned the Spartans football program around in the latter half of his 7-year campaign, leading San Jose State to a bowl game in 3 of the last 4 years. Coach Niumatalolo brings plenty of success and accolades with him from the Naval Academy. He was the winningest coach in history and led Navy to 10 bowl games during his 15-year tenure. He's a 3-time American Athletic Conference Coach of the Year and led Navy to 6 bowl wins and 6 Commander-in-Chief trophies, which are the most in Navy history. Coach Niumatalolo was a finalist for the Dodd Trophy and the Paul Bear Bryant Coach of the Year Award in 2015. In 2013, he was selected to the inaugural class of the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame and was the first Samoan collegiate head coach on any level. Coach Niumatalolo played college ball and began his coaching career at Hawaii. However, in his first season, he'll be tasked with putting together a team that had a lot of turnover from last season. The Spartans will have a new offensive coordinator and will have to find a replacement at quarterback as Chevin Cordero headed to the NFL. Meanwhile, on the defensive side of the ball, San Jose State's leaders both departed, with first-team All-Mountain West Conference defensive lineman Trey Smith transferring to Arizona and leading tackler linebacker Byron Parham transferring to Washington. The Spartans will be relying on other guys to step up and fill those roles. San Jose State will, however, retain defensive coordinator Derek Odom, who led the Spartans to the 44th ranked defense in the country last year. The Spartans' quarterback battle consists of 5 players: Jay Butterfield, who backed up Cordero last season, Walker Eggett, Emmett Brown, and Sam Houston transfer Xavier Ward. San Jose State kicks off its season on August 29th against Sacramento State. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Douglas Santo.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. This is Mark Buerger, your host for today's show. We are currently still live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So we're going to just quickly start off by talking about the Big Ten. The Big Ten has expanded with 4 new teams, as we just heard from our very own Pham from San Diego State. Oregon football is now joining the Big Ten. And as we look here, later in the schedule, we will have Oregon come to Camp Randall Stadium to play my Wisconsin Badgers. There's a lot of controversy, too, with the Big Ten as well, how some people think that, this is all for money, the Big Ten's not really the Big Ten anymore. But Vince, our co-host here for the show, how do you feel about the Big Ten expanding?
I think it is all about the money, actually. It's interesting when years ago, when I was a graduate assistant on Arizona State staff, we took a trip in '95 out to Lincoln, Nebraska. Obviously, everybody knows the result of that game, and it was quite a game. And actually, we scored more points in that game than any other opponent of Nebraska's that year. But anyway, what I remember distinctly about that trip is that it took us 3.5 hours to get there. And I thought, oh, my gosh. That was the furthest that we had traveled that season, and it really put us out. So my concern about the new conference affiliations, the Big 12, with ASU, Arizona, whatever, the Big 10 with some of these other schools, UCLA, USC, Oregon, is the travel in Washington. The travel and the fact that you've got all these schools. You got, Indiana, you got Minnesota, you got Iowa State, you got Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and having to Rutgers even, and having to take these trips, and how much I know. What's different now is the fact that the online education aspect, not having to go physically be in class, but still what it puts you out, the exhaustion, the just being out of sorts and having to take these trips and leaving earlier and earlier each week to get on a plane, to adjust your schedule, to adjust your internal clock, potentially be jet lagged even. For a few days, and then having to go play a game. That's the part I'm concerned about the most. And I don't know truly if these conferences, or the schools for that matter, really looked at that, examined that. But it is a cash grab. It's a money grab because they're creating these mega conferences that with these TV contracts and everything else associated with it, that they are some big payouts there. So, Mark, I don't know, but there is some excitement in these matchups as I look through the conference. I mean, do you have Mark? Do you have an interest in particular in these matchups? I mean, you had mentioned the big rivalry that Wisconsin has with Minnesota, but are there any other matchups in there within the conference that you find compelling?
Oh, yeah. So for Wisconsin, we have a road matchup. It's not at home, but we do have a road matchup in Los Angeles, California against USC. And that is going to be, even though it's not at home, I won't be able to be there, but that's going to be a very fun game to watch. And then the Oregon game, Oregon is coming to Camp Randall Stadium in the season. I believe that game is one of the projected primetime night games on NBC, if I'm not mistaken. I could easily be wrong. Don't take my word for it.
Okay.
Do some research just to make sure that I'm not giving some inaccurate information.
Do you go to a lot of the football games, Mark? And if so, what's the environment like? You had mentioned 80,000 people, but as a student season ticket holder, student section, what's that like? Is it a zoo?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Totally. Yeah. The student section, as I said, holds just the student section alone, 14,000 students.
Wow.
And you have to get in line hours before the gates even open. And the gates open, I believe it's an hour and a half to 2 hours before kickoff. I could be it's one of those, but yeah, it's definitely amazing. And as I said, jump around is also huge. And I'll tell you, I get exhausted having to do jump around every single week. It is unreal, but that's my exercise for the day. Is literally go into the game in the nice sun with my friends and jump around.
Awesome. Mark, you've been doing a great job today. Hosting the show today is University of Wisconsin at Madison. Journalism student, Mark Buerger. Guys, when we come back from the break, an old friend, Lucas Ramirez, Saguaro High School, will be on the show, interviewed by Reilly Robertson, our very own Cronkite journalism broadcast team member. We'll be back after the break here on the Varsity Sports Show with Mark Buerger. Go Varsity.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hi, this is former NBA All-Star and coach Doug Collins, and you're listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hello everyone, my name is Pham. I'm a student at San Diego State University, majoring in journalism with a minor in communications. I'm excited to contribute to the Varsity Sports Show this summer. I'm looking forward to telling the story of a game through an X's and O's perspective.
HD Radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. This is Mark Buerger, live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, along co-host Vince Delicio. Up next, we have a very exciting interview coming up here with our very own Reilly Robertson from Arizona State University, who will be talking with head coach Lucas Ramirez. He is the head coach of the Cienega High School boys basketball team in Scottsdale. It'll be a very great opportunity to get to learn more about the coach and get to really know about the team. I don't know as much about the team myself as I am from Wisconsin. I really only know about the Wisconsin teams, but yeah, it'll be really great to get to hear Reilly's insight on this. And also later in the show, we will have our very own Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern talking with Richard Gerratson of Chandler High School. But before that, we will go into the Reilly Robertson interview. And just before we get into that interview, it's been a great opportunity to hop on the Varsity Sports Show. This has just been an amazing opportunity for me to get to talk with all you guys, the viewers here on the Varsity Sports Show. We have had many great interviews too, from the live show interview with Jason Hersh, and also with these different type of West Coast, East Coast segments. And it's just been a great opportunity to really get to see not just what's going on in Phoenix, Arizona, but what has gone on around the country as well. And I think our viewers not only deserve the Arizona content that we provide on the station, but we also provide stuff from all around the country. And I think it's a very, very great thing to see the diversity of the many great things. So up next here, we have our very own Reilly Robertson from Arizona State, who will be talking with Lucas Ramirez, the head coach of Cienega boys basketball. Aaron, take it away.
Hi, this is Reilly Robertson from Arizona State, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Today I am chatting with the head coach of the Cienega High School men's basketball team, Lucas Ramirez. This is what Coach Ramirez had to say about his team culture and why it is so important.
Culture's a word that's thrown out a lot, I think in athletics. Everyone says we want to have a good culture, the goal is to have a great culture, but what does that mean? And I think for us, it's our kids just understanding our program standards and expectations. And for us, I think the biggest thing that we look for is, it's cliche, but it's simple. It's doing what you're supposed to do, the way it's supposed to be done, when it's supposed to be done. And that's not just the basketball court. That's, in the classroom, that's out in the community. And I think the true reflection of, do you have a good culture, or is it to what your vision is, or your expectation is really when you see players holding each other accountable to that standard, right? I always tell the story of my first year. You're trying to implement your culture or set your culture, whatever it is. And, in a game, we had one senior look to another senior and say, hey, that's not how we do things around here.
Relationships between an athlete and their coach can have a tremendous impact on that young athlete's life. But what about that impact on the coach's life? Here's what Coach Ramirez had to say.
This isn't how we do things. And, if you get kids come back, during the holidays or whatever, who used to play, we had a former player come in, last holiday break, and watched a practice, and it was refreshing and nice to at the end of practice, we brought him in the circle and he shared a few words with the team. And, 3-4 years later, he's emphasizing the same things that, we're emphasizing to our guys now. So, I think that's when you really get a good sense of where your culture's at.
Yeah. And obviously you and all of the athletes that you coach have a big impact on each other and yourself. But what do you think, how have your relationships and experiences with all of these young athletes that you coach, how have they impacted you in your own life?
Wow. That's a really good question. It's one of those things where even for us, I think as coaches or teachers, we forget sometimes the influence we have or the role that we have, in someone's life. And I can think back to teachers I had or coaches I had that, I can look back and reflect and realize the impact they had, in my upbringing or the way I do things now. And I think with us, it's the same thing. It's having players come back, to visit. It's having players check in with you on holidays or, just throughout the season, throughout the year, and they're asking you not just, hey, how's basketball going, but how's your family doing? How are things at school? So it's little interactions like that make you realize, I think the importance that we can have in their lives. And for some guys, they might notice it or appreciate it, a year later. Some guys, it might take them, years down the line where, they're coaching a team or, they see their kids going through athletics or whatever it might be. And, they think back to when they were playing and they were around coaches and, so it's little things like that. I think that remind them of the impact that I think we can have on them and vice versa. I think they impact us more than I think people realize too. I think a lot of people think like, how does the coach influence the player? But, I think every year you do this, you learn yourself and you learn from one year to the next. And part of that influence is, just seeing how the kids are changing and evolving. And, we have to adapt to them in many ways. I think it's a two-way street. So yeah, no, I think the impact is tremendous, both ways.
That was Coach Lucas Ramirez, head coach of the Saguaro High School men's basketball team. Thank you so much for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Reilly Robertson.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Arizona. This is Mark Buerger, live from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We just heard the interview from our very own Reilly Robertson from Arizona State University with Lucas Ramirez, who is the head coach at Saguaro High School for their boys basketball team. Reilly, are you there?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Not too bad, Reilly. Thanks for asking. So just tell me a little bit more about Lucas Ramirez and how he's been able to build such a good program there with their student athletes.
Yeah, so I've talked to Lucas a couple times, and I really like how him and his coaching staff have been able to kind of build this team and build trust within like him and his athletes. I think that all of him and his coaching staff have such a great relationship with their athletes, and they really foster like such a culture, as he kind of explained, and just like make it a really good place for these athletes to grow up and to learn and to kind of experience things while they're in high school and while they're on this team.
Yeah, and as I talked about earlier on the show too, I think the mutual connection is very important, right? Between the student athletes, the coach, and vice versa. Do you think it's really that important to really have that mutual connection?
Oh yeah, I think it definitely is. Like having that trust between the coach and the athlete and having them trust each other and have that relationship with each other really just makes them be able to learn better. They're more coachable, and I think it just makes it an overall better experience for both the athlete and the coach.
Yeah, and that's great to hear, Reilly. Just a quick question here before we move on here. Do you think Saguaro is going to have a great team next year?
I think they will. I really like that the culture that they foster and how these athletes are progressing. I know that they have a lot of returning athletes this next year, so I think that is definitely going to help them in their ability to win some games and have a better turnout than they did last year.
Well, yeah, Reilly, it looks like they're really going to have a good year next year. Thank you so much, Reilly, for coming on the Varsity Sports Show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Reilly. So we have one more great segment for you before we wrap up our show here on KDUS 1060 AM Radio Arizona. Well, we will have our very own Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern. He will do an interview with the head coach of Chandler High School, Rick Gerratson, and we will get to learn more about him as a coach, how he preps his team every week, and it'll be a it'll be very great to hear. And
yeah, and I do have to add here, and regarding Thad's interview with Coach Gerratson. Coach Gerratson is arguably the dean of coaches in the state of Arizona out at Chandler High School. I mean, they've won multiple state championships, put out a lot of great players through the years, and really does a great job out there. But anyway, carry on, Mark.
Thank you so much, Vince. This is Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We will be right back after the break.
KDUS AM1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM1060.
This is where I start my day.
Hi, y'all. My name is Reilly Robertson, and I am originally from Dallas, Texas. I'm currently attending Arizona State University, majoring in both sports journalism and sports business. I'm so incredibly excited to start this semester with the Varsity Sports Show. There are a plethora of sporting events to cover this summer, such as the Stanley Cup playoffs, the College World Series, and the Summer Olympics. With all of these events, this summer is definitely going to be a fun one.
Hi, this is Saguaro High School head baseball coach Joe Mickey, and you are listening to the home of the Sabercat Report, the Varsity Sports Show on AM1060 KDUS, Arizona. Go Cats!
The Varsity Sports Show live with Vince D'Alicio every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Features all the local youth, high school, college sports, and more, both around the Valley and beyond. Enjoy go-to segments with coaches and players from around the Valley. Tune in to the Varsity Sports Show with Vince and guests, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060, online at KDUS1060.com and the KDUS 1060 app. Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
What's going on, guys? I'm Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Today, I'm interviewing Coach Richard Gerratson, the head coach of the Chandler High School varsity football team in Arizona. Coach Gerratson has led the team to numerous victories and has been a pivotal figure in developing young athletes both on and off the field. How you doing today?
Doing good.
So can you tell us about your background and how you got into coaching?
Well, I attended Servite High School in Anaheim, California, which is a Trinity League team, the top league in the country. Went to San Diego State, played football there in the 70s. Came back and was a coach at Servite for 16 years. Moved to Arizona in 2005. And Sean Aguano brought me back into the high school coaching world. And been at Chandler High School for 15 years. This will be my 6th year as the head guy.
That's amazing. So can you tell me how you approach team building and fostering a strong team culture?
Absolutely. It's a huge factor of any program, any sport, but particularly in football. I do have a leadership coach, Russell Scott, and so we take that very serious and usually have at least once a week a probably hour-long leadership meeting and focus. It could be, guest speakers, obviously things that Russell's talking about, and we take it very seriously. And ultimately our culture is, being responsible, being held accountable, being able to not be afraid to compete and earn, what you get. We have a saying of earn the opportunity to get an opportunity, and our kids really strive for that and pushes them to be the best player and be the best human being they can be.
So how important is community support to the success of your team?
Well, the Chandler High School is one school in the Chandler School District, Unified School District, and our community is the oldest. Chandler was opened up in 1914, so we're a traditional school, and we have great, communal support. Our games, our home games are generally sold out on our side of the stadium. We've got great travel from the support system as well, not just the parents that are part of the program today, but also, alumni and people from the past. And it's a great, thriving culture, which is a lot of times is hard to get.
So, how do you stay motivated and continue to evolve as a coach?
It's like if you get up in the morning and still love doing what you're doing, that's the first step, right?
Right.
Through time, obviously football has changed quite dramatically, just in all areas, whether it's recruiting, whether it's portal, whether it's NIL. The portal world hits the high school level now, so it's definitely something that's changed in that capacity. But as a staff and as a head coach, you're always trying to get better. You're always trying to learn from others. I'm not afraid to hire guys smarter than me and make us a better football program. I mean, I've got 30 coaches throughout my program at all levels, and we strive to be the best we can be and ultimately help kids, perform to the peak of their capacity on the field on a Friday night.
Yes, sir. So, what advice would you give to anyone who wants to become a football coach?
I think sometimes it's like, because once you get finished playing football, there is no, it's not 3-on-3, it's not, rec basketball. Kind of once you're done, right?
Right.
And really the only way you can kind of, keep your hand or get back in it is through coaching. And it's like anything, it's something that, once it gets in your blood, it's going to basically stay there. At our level, we don't do it for the money. We always say we're in the kid business, we're mentors. We love seeing kids, have success, whether that's moving on collegiately, whether that's becoming a great, father or husband. It's just, those are all the aspects that make things work in, the high school football level. I'm just fortunate to have, a great support system, both inside my core of coaches and my administration. It's never a one-man show by any means, both inside the program and outside.
Yes, sir. Well, those are all the questions I have for today. I want to thank you for sharing your insight and your experiences with us today.
All right, Thaddeus. Take care, man.
I'm Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, and thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060 AM Radio, Arizona. I am currently live from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We have our very own Thaddaeus Mitchell from Texas Southern University, who just interviewed Rick Gerratson, the head coach of the Chandler High School football team. Thad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Thanks, Thad. I'm doing very well. How about you doing?
Doing good.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on the show, Thad. Just tell me a little more about Coach G here, Coach Gerratson, and what he's done for the Chandler High School football team.
Yes, he's been coaching there for a while, and they're actually a great school in Arizona. While I was researching and finding schools, a coach to interview, I saw that they're a top school for football. So that's the main reason why I wanted to interview him.
Well, yeah, that's very awesome to hear, man. Just talk to me more about the team. How do the players have that good mutual connection with the coach? As I've said before on the show numerous times, it is definitely very important, right, to have that mutual connection.
Right. Yeah, like he told me, he basically picks his players who have good things about them. So whenever he's picking his players to coach, he knows already that they would be a good team and be able to work with them. He also says the community is behind the team, so I think that also helps, especially with the players, with their families. There's a bunch of support.
Yeah, man. That's very great to hear. And I think, as we've said before on the show, that that mutual connection is extremely important. But my final question for you, Thad, is how do you think Chandler's going to do next season?
I think they're going to do great, honestly. They have some good players on the team, and he's a great coach. So I think they'll go pretty far.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have a great team next year, and I encourage everybody, the students, local fans, to go to Chandler High School football games. It definitely seems like a very good old time, right? What's it like for you going to high school football games, just real quick?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
What's it like been going to high school football games in your past? Just real quick.
They're just exciting. They're exciting to watch, especially when it's a competitive game. You just get to see players who have potential to go to college and play at even higher levels, and it's just really fun. I played a little bit of high school football.
Yeah.
When I was in high school too, so it's an exciting game to watch.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for hopping on, Thad, and we got to learn more about this coach. It was really great to hear. Thank you so much, Thad, for coming on.
No problem.
Time for Vince's final word.
All right, well, there you have it. There's another show right there, hosted by our very own Mark Buerger out of the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Mark, nice job today. You navigated the ship well. You took us through, sat in the big chair, and really proud of your preparation and how you handled not only the segments and how they were arranged, as well as the live interviews. You talk about pressure, man, and doing it virtually. You did a great job with it. So how was the experience overall for you?
Well, I think kind of just before heading in, I was a little nervous. Sometimes you're pacing around your room going, oh, how's this going to go? We have a big audience in Phoenix, and Phoenix is not a small city. It is a big city, let me tell you. And so there is pressure, but to me, I just told myself, just stay calm.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to get anxious in these moments, especially when it's your first time doing it. You've never done a live show before. Yeah. You have a big audience in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's a lot of pressure with the sponsors as well. But for me, I think it was just a matter of staying calm and knowing, okay, once I kind of, settle in, really get the flow, I think really for me, it just comes naturally. And, I've watched a lot of radio shows and TV shows, and I think just watching a lot of that kind of helps, kind of not necessarily follow their format, but just the confidence that you bring. You want to sound confident with your viewers watching.
Yep. Very proud of you. Nice work, Mark. And we're back to the drawing board tomorrow night, so hopefully we'll get some good feedback from everyone. There's always ways to improve, but we're doing a lot of good things now at this point in the summer, and we'll get back to work. Next week I'm going to be out in Fountain Valley, California, which is Orange County, for a charitable event, a pickleball tournament, and it's in honor of my a good friend of mine and my brother, the Beachin' with Beal first annual Mike Beal Memorial Pickleball Tournament next Saturday morning out at Fountain Valley Tennis and Pickleball Center. I'll be hosting the show from there, and then running a live stream and offering some commentary throughout the pickleball tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some laughs and some familiar names and faces. Our self-proclaimed number one fan, Rob Maggs, will be on hand as well. So, and then the week after, we'll be out in Houston, Texas, to host the show on ESPN FM 97.5 Sunday morning, August 4th. I'm going to turn it back over to Mark. Mark, take us out.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Vince, for being with me today, co-hosting our show from the gorgeous campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And also thank you to our amazing live guest, Jason Hersh, for hopping on our show today. You can check us out on X, formerly known as Twitter, and at Varsity Show, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And thanks to our producer, Aaron Decker. And join us back here next Saturday at 9 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona for the Varsity Sports Show. On behalf of my partner, Vince Delicio, I'm Mark Buerger from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Hey listeners, Vince Delicio here from the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited and honored that you start your weekends off with us. Our team is comprised of very talented high school and college students working toward a future in media. We appreciate your support, and any opportunities that we can to promote your teams or businesses will go a long way toward helping us continue supporting our talented team. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we use our platform to not only promote all of the great things happening in the world of sports locally and nationally, but also continue to promote and encourage future broadcasters as they grow in this industry. please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Varsity Media Foundation. To find out more, please email us at info@varsitysportshow.com or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Varsity Sports Show or on Twitter at Varsity Show. Once again, thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now a nationally syndicated program on the SportsMap Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.